Hi, I'm Catherine with Written Portraits, and Written Portraits help people to connect with their loved ones and people who are important to them in ways that just aren't possible in everyday life. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about my own story, which is also about connection and about wanting it, but not always knowing how to have it with the people that I love. And one of those people that it was most important for me to connect with was my grandmother. And she actually ended up having a stroke and not being able to speak after her stroke. So, as you can imagine, that was devastating for me. But on top of everything, it was also a missed opportunity with her because there were so many things that I still wanted to ask her and that I still wanted to know about her. And I didn't want that to happen again. So I actually took the time to interview my own mother and asked her about her stories and her experiences and her memories. But what ended up happening in that interview is instead of just recording her stories, what I actually did was capture who she was on that day. What was important to her, what she valued, what memories were on her mind, what stories were on her mind. And we ended up connecting in a way that was so unexpected because I learned more about my mother in that interview than I had learned about her in years, because we don't always stop and take the time to ask people those deeper questions and we don't always know what to say. And that experience was so special to me that I wanted to just have it over and over again. I wanted to make written portraits of every person that I loved and cared about, but that's not real life. So I ended up just tucking it away as something wonderful, but there's something that I need to look back on and not look forward to. And I actually still was trying to look for things like that. I even changed my career, going from teaching college English into psychology, hoping that I could connect more with people and learn more about them. But I actually ended up working in psychological research, so I was really connecting more with data. And fast forward, my job changed, more career changes, but I was still pulled. I was still looking for that. And I ended up actually taking this productivity class that asked us to map out our entire life. And at the beginning of that map was supposed to be a sentence that explained our mission on this planet. And I agonized over this sentence and I finally got it down. And basically what I put was that I wanted to help people connect in unconventional and unexpected ways. And that sentence meant so much to me that I would look at it every morning and wonder, how can I have this in my everyday life? I don't just want to look forward to it. And I ended up connecting with a group of women who were cancer survivors or who had been recently diagnosed with cancer, and actually doing written portraits for them to capture who they were on that day, and also to preserve their stories and advice for children that they might not watch grow up. And so having that experience, bringing it into my everyday life, seeing how moving and valuable it was to give people that gift of closeness and understanding that they might not have the time or opportunity to gain, really helped me see that my life needs to be about written portraits and about giving that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to as many people as I can. So I want to show you what a written portrait actually looks like. This is the first written portrait that I ever did, was with my mother, and it was 11 years ago now. You can see her on the front here, and inside the book is the text of our interview. And my family really cherishes this because it means so much more than any photo that we could have taken of her. And now she's a completely different person 11 years later. She's a grandmother, she's retired, but we have this little snapshot of who she was in 2008. So you've heard how written portraits can change relationships and how they've impacted my own life. And I want you to ask yourself, who do you want a written portrait for? Is it for yourself? Is it for someone you love? Imagine how a written portrait could impact the relationships in your life. What kind of stories would you tell? What kind of stories do you want to hear from your loved ones?